Beware the court of owls that watches all the time, ruling Gotham from a shadowed perch behind granite and lime. They watch you at your hearth. They watch you in your bed. Speak not a whispered word of them, or they'll send the talon for your head.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Dog Show. I am, of course, Detective Rand, and with me is my partner, Detective Garrett, and Detective Marshall from Metropolis has joined us tonight. Gentlemen, good evening.
Welcome.
How's it going?
Good evening, Detective Marshall. Thanks for coming all the way from Metropolis and dropping in on this band of merry men today. Detective Rand, how's your warrants doing? You got anybody you're looking after right now?
I got my eye on a couple of people, a couple of suspects. We got a nut job over near Robinson Park, flaming sword, red hooded individual with a flaming sword.
I got you.
So we're checking into that. But gentlemen, I kind of got you here today because we had a few concerns. We've all heard the nursery rhyme. We've all heard the whispers. I think it's time that we address the elephant in the room, so to speak. Now, Detective Marshall, you not being from Gotham, I'm not sure if you're aware of these so-called whispers and particulars and whatnot, but there's a little bit of a concern here.
Oh yeah, I've heard a little bit about that.
Well, I was given an anonymous package, and Detective Garrett and I have been talking about this, and he said it's time to crack the file. It's time to crack the file on these people. Good evening.
Expose them for who they really are.
Miss Jones? Colleen Jones? Good evening. And then, of course, we have Jatsu Aki, and, of course, Taco Cat. Welcome to Gotham. Welcome to the show. It's good to be back, first of all. Detective Garrett was saying, it's time that we put the patrol back out onto the street so you guys know that we're here. And today we're going to crack open the file on the Court of Owls. Detective Garrett, run down the history.
Yes, sir. Well. The Court of Owls. Most people don't realize this, but the Court of Owls has been around about as long as Gotham has actually been, as the city of Gotham. Some of Gotham's most wealthiest families built Gotham, and they controlled Gotham through murder, mayhem, and money. That's the way to put it. You have families, that go back as far as R.H. Orchard and the Orchard family, who built the Orchard Hotel back in 1893. He actually, was one of the founding members of the Court of Owls. And you move up to people like Lincoln March, who has been reanimated. We'll get into what reanimated is in a little while, by the Court of Owls, who claims to be Thomas Wayne Jr. So there's a little bit of a snag there. It's like, okay, maybe we have some actual Waynes controlling the Court of Owls. And then you have the good doctor themselves, Dr. Leviticus, who back in the early 1900s created the formula from the electrum that reanimates the talons and moves them. So that's a brief history of just some families and different entities within the Court of Owls who has run Gotham. Now they've always, sat in the shadows, and unless you knew and you listened earlier, to the beginning, unless you listened to the nursery rhyme and you knew who was who, you if you weren't wealthy, you never even realized that the Court of Owls was even a thing, because they operate in the shadows behind granite and lime, like it says. They don't expose themselves in the daylight, so they could be a mayoral candidate. They could be a wealthy philanthropist, or they could be your normal detective walking around on the streets trying to protect Gotham, who's getting a kickback. And I don't know any detective that doesn't want a free donut every now and then.
Oh yeah.
Well, uh, they like to say that we're corrupt here in Gotham City, and I there are a few good men here. We don't condone vigilanteism here in our city, although we have it. Uh, but it seems that these guys seem to be a little bit more than your average crime family. Um, I'm not sure how much their reach goes, but some says it funnels all the way to Metropolis.
It
Uh,
it actually funnels all the way to England. There's actually an international cabal of the Court of Owls that's actually called the Parliament of Owls.
It is far stretching. So it reaches everywhere. Uh, we haven't had much dealing with it here in Metropolis at the moment, but I'm pretty sure it's going to pop its ugly head up sometime soon.
so now it starts in the rebirth of Batman, right? Batman 52 gives us the
Yes.
rebirth of, well, the rebirth of Batman. And of course, we get this new entity known as the Court of Owls. Um, as I go over this, I could not believe what I had seen when I actually read the book. I actually own the comic and the graphic novel with that came with the mask. Um, still sealed. I didn't open it as much as I wanted to. Um, I thought that the the writing was just kind of bone chilling because of what they had.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? The whole mythology of the fact that this was a story told to the children of Gotham to keep them and kind of in line, and everybody grew up with the story and everybody kind of played the game. um and then of course as you get older you chalk it up to just another bad time bed story that your parents told to you, and reality was that there's this entity more powerful than the mob, more powerful than Batman, controlling and pushing the destiny of certain individuals and the city itself. And now that we know it reaches across the pond, so to speak, not just to Metropolis, but to another continent. So, um, did any of you two read the book, read the comic?
I haven't.
I have not either. I've experienced it with the animated movies, which would have brought Damien into it and his dealings with the Court of Owls. Fantastic story, which is the
Yeah.
Batman versus Robin DVD. That's a fantastic movie. I suggest anybody watch it if they haven't seen it yet.
Oh, 100%. No, I do have the comic book. I've got it here. I have the graphic novel. So I do own it. I have read it. It is, like you said, Detective Rand, it is a very intriguing story if you're a Batman or Gotham fan, not just a Batman fan, but a fan of the Gotham DC universe, then it really is an interesting story to read. I mean, because you like you touched on Detective Random, we didn't see an appearance of them until the New 52 got Batman #6 in February of 2012. So we're only talking what 16 years or so now that the Court of Owls has been part of the Batman Gotham universe. And to Detective Marshall's credit, the Batman versus Robin animated movie is the first like iteration we see on screen of the Court of Owls, and absolutely is just I agree 1000% with Detective Marshall. If you have not seen that animated feature, you are doing yourself a disservice, even if you're just a fan of animated movies. Not so much Batman universe or Gotham universe. It is such a good writing and a good story. It's fun for everyone.
As a matter of fact, I remember when that came out because I went out and bought it. When I bought it, I went out and got the action figures from it. So I've got the first gen Talon Assassins, and then of course Talon himself, and then Batman and Robin and Nightwing, of course, before they went on to do all the other ones. But that Batman versus Robin, I'm telling you, this is another thing that I really love, that DC, comic book wise and animated wise, and video games too, knock it out of the park. No question at all. The DC cinematic universe, however, it stumbles a little bit, but again, if you see Zack Snyder's cut of Batman versus Superman, his cut of it is awesome. It's a long cut, but it doesn't seem that long, but it ties the movie in so much more than just seeing what you saw. You know what I mean? But when you go to the animated universe, this is not that Saturday morning 1970s, early 80s pow bang crunch Batman. You know what I mean? It is just a little bit more action than I would have to say over Batman the Animated Series. But I think Batman Animated Series gave us a landmark of what Batman was, or how Batman, should have been, which was great. But then when you go to Batman versus Robin, you see this whole new dimension of the characters. I was never a Damian Wayne fan. Never a Damian Wayne fan until Batman went to go get his son, and he literally went to hell and back for his son. And I thought that was just awesome. I became a big fan after watching the movies, of course, but there was something about these guys. There was something about this organization that really kind of got me, I don't know, really kind of pumped, or really at the same time pumped and at the same time going, damn, you know what I mean? Because this is something that you really couldn't stop.
Oh yeah, I mean the fact that they like I said, they hide in the shadows, and they really um they handle things as far as um their cabal society, how they handle certain individuals, how they handle the crime syndicates and stuff. They do it all in secrecy. Like, you have no clue who anyone is, and when you get an invitation, if you're wealthy enough to be a part of the Owls, and you're invited, you could be sitting next to someone you walked across the street with 1,000 times over and not know that person, because everyone's wearing a mask. Another big thing that people don't realize when it comes to the Court of Owls is the Court of Owls is predominantly run by a female. A lot of the decisions is run by a female side, but the talons are all males. So it's very, strange to see such a secret organization be, female led. And again, they started out as an all male group, but for it to progress to where it was more female led, and you see that in iterations of different storylines, and when it gets into the Gotham Knights video game series and all of that, you see the impact that Dr. Leviticus has on everything. So I just thought that was an interesting take on it. But for the murder and mayhem that they run Gotham with, and they're so secretive about it that they literally, and Detective Rain, you've played the video game. They killed Batman and created the Gotham Knights, who is Red Hood and Nightwing and Signal and all of them.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I love the way the game is portrayed, because at first you start off with some low-level thugs, of course. Penguin is trying to go straight. I think it killed me. And then to actually get caught into the Court of Owls and have to, run the gauntlet like the comic, almost like the comic. And to have this whole thing manifest and come out, I thought it was great. I thought it was one of the best things ever as a Batman fan. And we have Taco Cat saying he's a big Batman fan. We all are. As you all know, that Detective Garrett had came up with the idea of actually doing the DC broadcast. And we have our Azrael page, but we now have opened up our Court of Owls page. We'll talk more about that towards the end of the program. But to see that in live action, and I don't know if anyone out there who hasn't played the game, but the beginning of the game is interesting, because I've always said that I never liked the fact that they always want to seem like they want to kill off Batman for some reason. Like, this is the big thing to do. We're going to kill off Batman. And I'm like, you can't kill off Batman. But they do it in a way that is really intriguing. It's really done well. And you could see, you could go, yeah, that could happen. Joker would never kill Batman. As much as you guys want for that to be true, he can't kill him, because that's his thing. That's his play toy.
They need each other.
They need it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He would never kill him.
Batman are yin and yang. That they are two sides of the same coin.
Yep,
definitely. And that's one of the things that I've always found kind of crazy. But the way they take Batman out in the video game, I was like, okay, I can see it. This would be the only person that I could see out of all the criminals, out of all the menageries of Batman's foes, all his nemesis or whatever you want to call them. I'm telling you, this is the man that would do it. And he does it with style. And I don't want to ruin it for anybody who hasn't played the game.
Right,
but,
I just want to bring up the Gotham Knights TV series that came out last year. I don't think that did justice to the Court of Owls or the way they took out Batman. So, I'm glad that they did it correctly in the video game, because that TV show was a major disappointment the way they did it. So it's great to hear that.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I wasn't too thrilled when I saw it. And then when I heard about it, I was like, oh God, no. I get very protective when it comes to Batman. And a lot of people are like, well, you shouldn't be like that. And I'm like, what do you mean I shouldn't be like that? This property is over 80 something years old. I think it's pushing 85 or 86.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to see, because we know the lore. We lived it from little kids up into, I'm in my 50s. To see somebody take it and they do this stuff over and over again where they constantly kill Batman, or they make him give up the cowl because he can't do it anymore. And and then of course there's my ultimate favorite. Anybody can be Batman. No, anybody cannot be Batman. No one can just put on the cowl and be Batman, because Batman is defined by tragedy. He's defined by his indomitable will to keep going night after night after night, because that's Batman. So anytime that I hear that crazy story, anybody can be Batman, all you need is a cape and a cap. No, that's not true. If you don't have that burning desire, that drive to do this. Now, remember, Batman does this just about every night. This is his thing, without fail. And I love the Batman the Animated Series because we got that with him. And he says, one night can always make the difference. The mission never stops. And that's the Batman I love. So with Kevin Conroy passing, which was a great loss, even though he was getting older, anytime that I see Batman, I hear Kevin Conroy.
Same, 100%.
Every time I see Batman, I hear Kevin Conroy.
Even when Jensen Ackles is doing his voice, because Jensen Ackles kind of taken up the mantle per se and done it quite a few times. Even when he does it, I still hear Kevin Conroy. Right?
And sometimes you kind of catch yourself going, is that? You know what I mean? You kind of do that. It was I've seen these last couple of DC shows with Batman, animated wise, and I'm kind of like, I'm not really, I'm not really feeling it just yet. I'm not, sadly. I still enjoy them, but I'm just not feeling that Batman vibe yet. Maybe when we get a real solo Batman movie, I can really get back into it. But it's just been so hard to really kind of, especially now that we had Michael Keaton this past summer. We got to see him retire Batman in a noble way. You can say what you want about the movie. I don't really care. I liked the movie. I enjoyed the movie. I hated seeing Batman go out the way he did, but he went out like Batman. You know what I mean? So I'm happy. I'm happy overall over that. And of course,
I couldn't agree more with you. Honestly, again, I like the movie, but the self-sacrifice that we would expect from Batman, the way he went out, was, like you said, there was no one else that could have pulled that off.
Yeah, I have to agree, because it totally had to be Michael Keaton doing it. I don't think, and I love Ben Affleck as Batman as well, and I don't think he would have carried that same, you wouldn't feel the same way about him sacrificing himself as you do with Michael Keaton doing the sacrifice.
That's true. I mean, even, that was Ben's last turn. That was, we got the end of two Batman, basically, because that was Ben's last turn as Batman too. And I'm telling you now, boys, I have Ben on his Bat Cycle right there on my shelf next to the Red Hood. I love Ben as Batman. I thought that he played a perfect Bruce Wayne. He looked like the animated Bruce Wayne. Yeah, that was it for me. You know what I mean?
And then the end of the movie, we get the return of the bat nipples.
God. But you know what? That's what made that movie so great for me. That was the one Batman that I just couldn't. I hate Clooney as Batman. But seeing him as Bruce Wayne and like, what's the matter with you? I was like, damn, that was perfect.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he was
That
the perfect Bruce Wayne in this movie. I still don't see him as Batman, but he
No,
was
neither
perfect
do
as
I.
Bruce Wayne.
No, and I'm gonna tell you, Val Kilmer to me, I liked his Batman.
That's my Batman right there.
I liked him as Batman. The blonde haired Bruce Wayne, I didn't really care for that much, but he played a good Batman. You know what I mean?
I could not agree more.
I can't take nothing away. Clooney though, no.
Bat
It's
nipples.
just a no for me. I'm sorry. It's
Bat
just a
nipples.
no. Yeah, and then of course the bat cheeks on the screen, and you know what I mean. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
And again, that kind of goes back to where we always talk about, does Hollywood know what sells? And they don't. It's obvious that they don't. And
Well, if they watch shows like this, where we're talking about, an organization, brought in, like I said, 14, 16 years ago, and they really understood that, there are fans of us out here like this that read this stuff and watch these and play these games, then they would know. But they want to make up their own stories.
yeah, that's the sad part. That's the sad part, because you have this entity, and this is another thing that they do. It's like you remember when Bane was the biggest thing and the baddest thing on the block? First we had Killer Croc. Killer Croc was the closest of all villains to come to beat Batman. He came so close to beating Batman. And then what happens? Bane shows up. And then when Bane gets popular, we get Bane in that was the George Clooney movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Bane and Point.
Yeah, totally robbed Bane of his powers in that movie.
Oh my God, and then
I didn't realize that was Bane for a while.
To team him up with Poison Ivy, who she was very over the top in her role, and I was just kind of like, so saddened by seeing that. My friends were like, "What's the matter? Isn't this your show?" I don't want to hear all that.
Mm-hmm. And then,
what is it? The Dark Knight series movies. When they brought Bane in that story, I know he was more down to earth, but it was more believable, and I liked that character there. I know Christian Bale he makes you fall out of the character with his voice, but the movies as a whole were a great series of movies.
Oh no, I can look. Even though I still feel that the third movie is the weakest of the three, I can watch them without a problem. I can watch them without really commenting on, that's wrong. You know what I mean? You know how you nitpick.
Yeah.
Especially when we get together, and because we know, like, again, we know these characters backwards and forwards. And I believe your fellow detective Bishop Xavier would tell us, well, when you bring comic book characters from the comic book into movie reality, you have to change them up a bit. And I disagree.
I completely disagree.
So do I.
I completely disagree. I think you should be able to take that character and translate him from the page onto the silver screen. And if you can't do that, you're not the right director for it.
Well, I mean, case in point, Marvel did it with Captain America and Iron Man.
Do you know? Side note, I was always an Iron Man fan. Captain America, never. First Avenger is still my favorite Marvel movie,
hands
because
down,
of the love story, and because of the fact that when he wakes up and runs barefoot into New York, and he's like, "Holy crap, what the hell?" that scene kills me because I'm like, yeah, man, we don't have any of that, mom's apple pie, American pride anymore. Welcome to the, to the 2000s. Good luck.
Yeah.
Because all that patriotism, all that, you know, we're fighting to for freedom and it's gone. It is gone.
Yeah, no, I mean it is completely, and I will tell you, like you said, for someone Hollywood or anyone else to say that you can't take a DC character like the Court of Owls, the Talon, Joker, any of those, and bring them from the comic book onto the silver screen or the small screen or whatever, and make it believable, obviously is not a fan, because you can look at Hollywood now and you can say, okay, the people that we would choose, like we were talking before the show. I mean, if I was looking at it at an old, like we were looking at a golden age Batman or whatever, kind of Batman Beyond style. Like you said, Jeffrey Dean Morgan would be it for me, 100%. Um,
Definitely.
if
Definitely.
if I was looking for someone to play the Talon, um, in that aspect of being that assassin style, um, and move the way the Talon moves, where you don't see their face, I would take Ray Park from Star Wars.
Oh God, yeah. He's still
100
nimble enough to do all that. You're right.
exactly. I would take Ray Park because he could bulk up enough, very quickly to get the upper body strength. He has
Martial arts
the
prowess.
martial arts background. He
Yeah.
has the what is it, the parkour background.
Hmm.
He has all of that he could move in that nimble way, um, that the Talon moves. And the fact that, I mean, we all saw him as Darth Maul. I mean, there were times in that movie where if they didn't add sound effects, you wouldn't even know Ray Park was even moving. He's that quiet. And that's
Yeah.
the Talon.
I would also choose Kate Blanchett as the leader of the Court of Owls as well, because she's really manipulative, and I think she would play that role perfectly. As the
Oh,
leader of the town.
again, I could not agree with you more. I think that iteration that Kate Blanchett would bring, to her, to the character itself, just from her other movies and her range that she's done, that right there, to be that secret leader, I guess, where she's prim and proper one way and then she's just evil.
Yeah, absolutely.
That right there. Again, I could not agree with you more, Detective Marshall.
Oh yeah.
Well, gentlemen, I think it's time that we talk about their prime assassin, not just the underlings. So in the oh my God, get Kathleen Kennedy to play her.
She would be perfect. She probably already is in the Court of Owls, so don't.
Well, I was thinking, how they had that is it the 13th floor in some of these buildings
Yep, the 13th floor.
Yeah.
where they have these bodies buried and everything, and I found this so that they weren't really after Batman, but they were after Dick Grayson. They wanted Nightwing
Yes.
to be their Talon, their supreme Talon. And I thought that was good because Nightwing now is coming into his own. For those of you who've played the Arkham game series, and then have the VR game where you become infected with the I guess the Joker serum or whatever it is, and as Batman is going through this whole hallucinogenic state, and he basically kills Nightwing. I could see Nightwing overtaking Batman as a Talon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you know why they wanted Dick Grayson in the first place to be a Talon, right?
No.
Okay, so one of the most prolific Talons out there, one of the most recognizable Talons in the comic series or whatever, is William Cobb. William Cobb is the great grandfather of Dick Grayson.
Oh,
Oh.
sweet. That's real sweet.
So
Oh.
yeah, so being that William Cobb, if you play the series, you've seen the actual Gotham TV show, or you've read any of the Court of Owls books, you'll know that the one they talk about most of the time is William Cobb, who was sent to kill Bruce Wayne on the Night of Owls, which is how we got all of this set up in the first place.
Right.
His great grandson is Dick Grayson.
Wow.
Man. I tell you.
So that's the whole reason they wanted Dick Grayson to be in the Court of Owls, to be a Talon, to basically take up his great grandfather's mantle, because when Grayson basically gets approached, they basically tell him it's in your blood. They've Dr. Leviticus tells him it's in your blood. You're one of us whether you know it or not. And the fact that he later finds out that it's his great grandfather who is the main protagonist Talon of all the series. And of course, there's been other ones, throughout the years. But the fact that William Cobb himself is the great grandfather to Dick Grayson explains why they wanted him so badly.
Look, I'm telling you, there's nothing greater than coming together with a bunch of your friends and having one of those things. So I'm telling you guys now, look for it. In September, we will have a huge Batman giveaway for Batman Day. Stick with us. Come to our pages. We'll be putting the links out. I'm going to let Detective Garrett figure out what we want to do as far as giveaways and what we can do. And I'm telling you now, because as I was talking about it, this September is, and they always have a Batman Day in September.
Yeah.
Let me make sure that
We missed our giveaway last year due to scheduling conflicts and all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to do it.
Yeah, sicknesses and
September 21st
September 21st.
is
Oh, that's
National Batman Day.
nice.
All right.
So I know for a fact, and I'm so hyped to do this. It is a Saturday. So
that'll be amazing.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna do it big. We're gonna do it big. Maybe we even talk to yesterday.
I was just thinking that maybe we do a blowout. Yester Toys, Bella Books, maybe a JJ Toy Garage. Kind of do a massive blowout on it.
Batman turns 85. Batman will be 85.
Oh, good Lord. So let's talk a little bit about the Electrum, which is the mineral that was in the meteor rock that they actually mined to get the to make the elixir. The Dr. Leviticus makes the elixir to reanimate the Talons. And what we mean by reanimate is these Talons die. Lincoln March gets killed several times, but they use this this electrum to reanimate them, and the formulas can be tweaked. And what I mean about tweaking is all of the Talons are essentially controlled. They're mind controlled. when they're reanimated, they're basically given instructions, and they have no choice but to follow the instructions and murder whoever they've been sent to kill. Which is why they say they're going to send the Talon for your head, and their job is to take their sword and chop their head off. So you can't be reanimated. Now, in the case of Lincoln March, his formula is a little different because he's actually given free will. He still is, to be a productive member of society, to go out there and work alongside, politicians and integrate himself into our own, police force of Gotham City Police, into our own liaisons with the DA and all of that. So he is one of the few that is given free will from his Electrum reanimation. But most of the Talons, when they're reanimated before they're sent out to pasture and their heads are cut off, they literally get this serum that they get in this chamber, and it reanimates them. So the elixir itself is very interesting because it's almost what's the word I'm looking for from League of Assassins. It's almost the pit, the Lazarus pit. It's a similar style of that, but it's more profound.
I'm I'm going through this. Haley Circus has been responsible for training the Talons.
Yes, absolutely.
And see this. I'm a self-published author, so when I hear stuff like that, the history that somebody has woven here, you can't tell me somebody can't write a screen adaptation for this. This stuff pretty much writes itself. It's right there. You could tie all this stuff up and have a banging Batman movie.
Again,
you know what I mean?
I was going to say, because they've done it in the past. Look at The Watchmen. I love that movie.
Oh, fantastic movie.
But then again, that's still another Zack Snyder movie. I mean, they tweaked it a little bit, but it almost comes off the page to the movie what you get in the screen,
Yes, and then you got the people from HBO or Max that try to do the TV
that
series.
wasn't. Yeah, that's so bad.
It was so bad.
I was disappointed and angry about that TV show. So
I was. I literally watched the first 2 episodes and I was like, you know what? F this.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. But they can do it, so don't say it can't be done, because that movie was perfect. A lot of times, I don't know who, I say it all the time, who wrote this? Do you ever read the comic books before you wrote something? I say it every time I look at it. And then I look up the writers because they anger me that much. And I'm like, well, what did they do prior to writing this? And that's how I feel. Because when you look at the animated stuff, that's pulled directly from the comic books. There's nothing wrong with the animated universe. But then when you get to the big screen, I don't know why they're trying to put too much dialogue into what's going on the big screen. Just make it like it's supposed to be, and you'll get the fans out there. They're going to want to see that. I mean, look at Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League, which is 4 hours long. I've seen that, I don't know how many times, I watch it like once a week because I enjoy it that much. So it's possible to do that.
Yeah, I've seen it like 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
Look, I'm going to tell you guys now, I especially like on a Sunday or something, I will grab most of the animated ones and throw them in there. With my Zack Snyder stuff, man, I get my little plate of little nachos or whatever, and I'm sitting there, and that's it. You know what I mean? I don't want to be disturbed. I'm good to go. It's just amazing to me, again, how Hollywood seems to ignore us as fans and never really pushes a good narrative towards the fans. As of late, we've all been complaining about the way they hijack our heroes and then they want to put a woman in the place. And then, if you don't like this, you're a misogynist or a homophobic guy, or you're just a whiny man child who wants what he wants. And I say this again, all we want is a good story. You could do all the gender bending and swapping out of characters all you want, but your story sucks. That's what we're complaining about. If you do it right, I went to go see Wonder Woman. I didn't complain that she was the lead. You know what I mean? It's when they take the male out and dumb him down and make him unresponsive towards reason and everything else, and only a woman can come in and make sense of a situation. We have a black Batman. Okay. Now, for those of you who don't know, Detective Marshall and I are men of African descent. I was not too thrilled about hearing this guy being
I
Batman.
did not know that. Man, you learn something new every day. I swear to all that is holy.
We've been hiding behind these badges all this time.
Have y'all been hiding behind those Court of Owl masks that y'all didn't tell me about?
Yeah. Don't be
I
calling
But it just amazes me how they do this. And then when I read the book, I was like, okay, I see he's in New York and da 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 da. And then here we go. Bruce has never been down on the street level. He's always been above it in the rooftops. And I'm like, whoever wrote this does not know Batman.
Right.
Absolutely.
Batman has always been in the seedier part of town in disguise as Matches Malone or someone else. Batman is not afraid to get. I mean,
He's not
it's
afraid
these
to get
young
down
kids.
and dirty.
Yes.
Yeah,
does
it's
it all
these
the
young
time.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and
but
it just
to your
go ahead.
point, this is the perfect story to make a female lead character.
Oh God, yes, a female
This
talent in
is
charge.
this is literally the perfect story, to have Kate Blanchett per se or someone of that nature to lead this in this style. If that's what society or whoever it is wants, I couldn't write a better story to tell this side of it. And then to get the right people to tell it. But again, this is our take on it as fans. We don't get paid the big bucks to sit around and think crap up. There's people that get around, they get paid to think this stuff up and what they think is going to sell, and then when it flops, they're blaming the fans. Well, the fans don't. They're not true fans. No, it's not that we're true fans. It's just your story sucks.
You're not a true fan, is what you're saying.
Pretty
You're
much.
just you're just the money,
Exactly.
and you got control. So you think you want to push your agenda out there, and that's not what we want to see. So that's a problem there too.
And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You want to hurt Hollywood? Stop going to their movies.
Yep.
Stop going to the movie. I refuse. I refuse now to go to. I am not supporting anything that looks mediocre. Anything where a director comes out and said, I want to make certain people uncomfortable. And I just refuse. Whether you're saying it about the movie you're making or not, if I hear that you're this activist and you want to do that, I'm not coming to see your movie. Because I see that 24/7 online every day, and it's beating me down to the point where I'm numb to it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. All I want to do is enjoy my movie. And I know I'm a little old-fashioned, but I enjoy watching my hero open up that vault and put on that suit. I don't want to see nanites transforming clothing into armor. I don't want to see that. Put on the suit, put on the mask, grab your grappling line, and go kick some ass.
Go to work. But I to your point, I will say this. Um, I have we have a nice friend, a double M name that takes care of an app for us that movies go on, that we technically don't have to go to theaters. So
Yeah, that's true. That's
all I'm
true.
saying is I'm thankful that I have a good friend who does that. So for anyone that out there is listening, he knows who he is. We are forever grateful, my sir.
Oh God, yes. Because I'm telling you now, I'm not going to the movies to see it.
Because I'm telling you, case in point, if I would have had to pay to see Wonka, I'd have probably walked back there and be like, I want my money back. Oh God. Never seen it, don't waste your time.
Well, I totally agree. I'm very thankful about, like I said, a lot of the stuff that we have to deal with, a lot of stuff that we have to see. Guys, don't give up on your favorite properties. If there's something that you loved with your favorite character and they're not doing go back to the old stuff. Buy the old stuff. If you don't have that copy of the first two Supermans, you can get 1 and 2, the Donner cut, and believe me,
Jeez, yeah.
Superman 1977, the Donner cut 1 and 2. That's an experience.
That's money.
Especially Superman 2, the Donner cut, because I got
Oh my God, yes.
I got that for Christmas last year, and I was so thankful. So thankful I got that.
I'm telling you now.
Those movies are money.
Yeah.
That's I mean, everybody goes, you know what, Henry Cavill was Superman, and you can't take anything away from anything that came before that was good. Christopher Reeve will always have that Superman place in my heart. I do like Henry Cavill, but when I think Superman, I see Christopher Reeve.
Same.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to Mr. Cavill. I like him. He plays a great Superman. Okay. He's great eye candy for the ladies. But I see Christopher Reeve because he made me believe a man could fly.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, for me, watching the Flash movie, like you said, nobody loved that movie when it came out. I still think that's one of the best stories that came out last year. One of the best comic book movies of the year for 2023 has to be The Flash, because you get Adam West as the Batman again.
Yes.
You get Christopher Reeves as Superman, and you finally get what's his name as Superman that he never got to make
Nicolas
his
Cage.
movie.
Nicolas Cage
As Superman, because he never got to make his movie, but he got to be Superman in this movie. So
yeah, I mean, they showed us. They showed, and to their credit, they didn't have a lot. They had some stuff they're working with, and then you hear fans like, well, when I saw the special effects, they were crappy, and I'm like, okay, but it was supposed to be distorted. That was his vision of distorting the
Speed Force.
Yeah.
And to hear people like, well, it could have been done better than that. Show me. That's what I like to show me. What would you do better? Show me. Because I'm going to tell you now, you can have all the great special effects that you want. And lately, of course, this last phase of Marvel has just been trash. Anything after Endgame has been trash. Just straight up trash.
Yeah, it is.
You can keep Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't want a Rocket story to begin with, and I got one, and I'm like, this is how you choose to end this saga, on Rocket.
Yep.
You wasted my time.
Yeah.
You wasted my damn time. I was so pissed off. But again, a lot of people got upset about the Batgirl movie being cut out there. Warner Brothers is bleeding.
Yeah.
They said that movie was so horrible. And like, you really think they're going to cut that movie? They've already done it. This is what Hollywood does.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's a tax thing. People don't understand that. They're like, no, they spend all that money. No, they're not. I'm trying to tell you, it is not just it's a tax thing. They can recuperate all their money and their losses, or at least a good share of it, by not releasing a crappy movie and not having any return.
Absolutely.
I gotta agree. I want to shift gears real quick just for a moment before we
Okay.
close out, and we talk about the Court of Owls page and our Court of Owls uh, at Tidewater Comic Con. But I want to give a shout out to Mr. Jedi Joe Jatsuaki. He, for those of you who may not know, he was never really a big DC fan. But the fact that he has become a DC fan by hanging out with he's become one, hanging out with Detective Rand, Detective Marshall, and myself more often. I want to give him a shout out. He's more on the villain side of things of DC. But if you have not taken the time to see Mr. Jedi Joe's iteration of Joker, his cosplay of Joker, I to this day still say that is his wheelhouse. I know he loves the Star Wars side of things, but as far as a DC character, not just the cosplay itself, but the actual mannerisms he had when he kind of put his hands together and tilted his head and the smile. For me, I told him this personally, that is his wheelhouse. So to you, my friend, my one of my oldest friends, sir, my hat's off to you. Again, I will say it 1,000 times over. Your Joker is one to be recognized all the time.
I'm going to tell you this.
Yeah.
I told him all he needs is the hat.
And he has.
That's all he needs is the hat. He
has
has that hat on. And brother, I'm telling you, I was like, that's one of the things that I would love to see him do, especially with that hat. And you know what else I would love to see? I would love to see him with some like goons or some minions, some dudes. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like with the words like Goon One or something on the back of the. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Get that classic henchman vibe.
Yes.
I think would be just icing on the cake. Or even like from Batman '89, if we could get a couple of guys in those jackets with the hats and the shades, you know what I mean? And one guy with a big boom box behind him. You know what I mean? I think that personally, but you're right. I think that cosplay of his will be one of his best cosplays ever. We've seen him as Stay Puff. We've seen him as a Jedi. But his Joker, when I saw him in that Joker costume, I was like, damn, that's good.
Yes.
That's really good. You know?
I literally was like, holy crap, dude. This is Joker. I mean, just point blank. And I'm a little partial because my wife does Joker, a female version, and she does a great Joker. And then I looked at his and I'm like, okay, those two could really go head to head.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm definitely in agreement. He does have the hat now. I think he's working on getting the cane. So yeah, it's his wheelhouse.
I think Monster Fest would be a good time to bring that out. The Quarter Owls and the Joker go to Monster Fest.
There you go. Well, speaking of Court of Owls, can you bring up our Court of Owls page on Facebook and kind of show everybody what we're talking about?
I sure can. Bam.
There we are.
There we are, guys. We haven't really marketed this page yet because we were waiting for tonight to push it out. Now, to be honest with you, we three run this page. This is our page because we are actually coming out with a panel, a Court of Owls panel. I believe we have our Talon with Mr. Rob Ash, and the rest of us will be in suits and masks. So I'm very excited.
That's what we're trying to do.
I'm very excited.
Yes, I've got my my mask, and Abigail's mask is in my cart for Temu. I just haven't purchased it yet, but they're only like $7.
And we got ours two for $8. So
yeah,
I ordered mine. I'm still waiting for them to come in. I think it's supposed to be in next month.
Nice.
But the thing about the Court of Owls cosplay, it's so simple. Unless you're doing Talon, it's literally for women. It's an evening gown, some sort of, formal wear, and for the gentleman, it's a suit.
Yep.
It's literally a suit and the mask. So the cosplay is so easy to do that anyone can go to uh, a convention as a Court of Owls member simply by buying the mask and putting on a suit or an evening gown or whatever, and you're a Court of Owls member.
Most of our DC news will be split up between this page, of course, and the Azrael page.
Yep.
If you caught the beginning of what I was saying this in the beginning of the broadcast, bring this up real quick. There she is. Now, this Azrael is based off of Michael Lane, not Paul Valley, Jean-Paul Valley. This is based off Michael Lane, and Michael Lane was a police officer who was inducted into the Order of Saint Dumas and becomes Azrael. And breaking news, this is the cosplay I'm working on.
Oh, that's gonna be fire, dude.
Very cool.
I'm thinking not this year, but 2025. When we do any of our DC stuff, you know what I mean? I wanna be able to break out the Azrael. I found this character intriguing, and then when I found out that it was a Gotham City cop, and then I found out that he was African American, I was like, what?
Yep.
I couldn't even believe that, because at first I'm like, Michael Lane. I said, what is this guy? Kendall Lois Lane? No, totally different type of thing.
Yep.
But I like Azrael because he's a knight. He's wants to cleanse Gotham with fire, and I just thought that was the craziest thing that I had ever heard of. And so, as you guys now know, we have these 2 pages. We're doing some panel work. We're going to try to do some panel work soon. Detective Garrett is the lead detective on that venture. We follow his lead, but our DC stuff is coming from the 757 Geek Fandoms and the Cosmic Portal. DC is coming, and it's here to stay.
Absolutely. And the thing I'll say, guys, is you may not see our Dogs of Gotham shows as much as you would see shows like the Blurreds or the Matriarchs of Fandom, that thing. And that's kind of twofold. One is scheduling time, and two, I think it's more prevalent and it's more special when our shows are not as scheduled out, I guess is the best way to put it. So when we say we have one, it's something very important or some new things we're bringing to you. So you're not going to see them as much as you would see the other shows, but it's not just because you haven't seen it in a month or so, it doesn't mean that we're not around. We're just creating really good content. When it comes to the Dog of Gotham, we want to bring you guys extreme content and very good um, information, things that you may not have ever seen before, or information you may not even know. So it's not that we're just sitting around, on our laurels. We literally have, real lives, and this is stuff that, like Jatsu Aki says, special editions. So Darth real life gets into play of things, as well as the content we want to bring you is going to be thought out. We planned this 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Also? Yeah. So
Yep.
this is some that gets planned and it gets talked about it, and we rover iterations of things. So don't think because you don't see us for a month or so that we're gone away. We're still here, just not as in the limelight, as you would say, as some of our other shows that we bring to you on a bi-weekly basis.
And let me also say that putting all this stuff out, we enjoy doing it. The giveaways that we do, this is not something that some big corporation is doing. We barely get anything for. I think our bonus here at the Cosmic Portal is like 21 cents for streaming. Okay, that's nothing. But everything that we give you guys comes out of our pockets. That's
Yes,
how
does.
big of fans we are. We're giving out of our pockets. We're giving comics. We're giving Funko Pops. We're giving action figures, posters, 3D printed materials, busts, figures, all that kind of stuff for the fans.
Glasses.
Yeah.
Shot glasses, flasks. I mean, we give all this stuff away to you guys for being here with us. But September 21st, Batman Day, will be a big, big day here for us as we come out. I don't know if we're going to be Court of Owls or if we're going to be our detective selves, but we will be out there to celebrate Batman Day for just for a couple of hours. Nothing big, just for a couple of hours, giving away stuff.
Absolutely. Well,
Just
gentlemen,
giving away stuff.
I think it's time we close the file on the Court of Owls. Hopefully, everyone who caught the show today actually maybe learned something, enjoyed what we had to say, and we always welcome feedback. But I will tell you, let's close the file, and we'll keep watch on Gotham as the Court of Owls try to stay in the shadows.
Please subscribe and hit that notification bell, and thanks.